Welcome to the Folktale Project. This is Dan Scholz. And today we have another story from Legends of the Rhine. Another tale, in fact, from Strasbourg, where Friday's story of the cathedral clock comes from. And in fact, this story also takes place at the cathedral in Strasbourg. It's a tale of a critic and an artist. This is The Little Man at the Angel's Pillar. Close to the famous clock in the Cathedral of Strasbourg, there is a little man in stone gazing up at the Angel's Pillar which supports the south wing of the cathedral. Long ago, the little man who is now sculpted in stone stood there in flesh and blood. He used to stare up at the pillar with a criticizing eye from top to bottom and again from bottom to top. Then he would shake his head doubtfully each time. It happened once that a sculptor passed the cathedral and saw the little man looking up, evidently comparing the proportions of the pillar. "It seems to me that you are finding fault with the pillar, my good fellow," the stone-cutter remarked, and the little man nodded with a self-satisfied look. "Well, what do you think of it? Speak out, my man," said the master, tapping the fellow's shoulder encouragingly. "The pillar is certainly splendid," began the latter slowly. "The apostles, the angels, and the Savior are most beautiful too. But there is one thing troubling me. That slender pillar cannot support that heavy vault much longer. It will soon totter and fall down, and all will go to pieces." The sculptor looked alternately at the work of art and its strange fault-finder. A contemptuous smile passed over his features. "You are quite convinced of the truth of your statement, aren't you?" he asked inquiringly. The bold critic repeated his doubts with an important air. "Well," cried the stone-cutter with comical earnestness, "then you'll remain there always, gazing at the pillar until it sinks down, crushed by the vaults." He went straight off to his workshop, seized hammer and chisel, and formed the little man into stone just as he was, looking upwards with a knowing face and an important air. This little figure is still there at the present day, with both hands leaning on the balustrade of St. Nicholas's chapel, awaiting the expected fall of the pillar. And most likely, he will remain there for many a century to come. And that is The Little Man at the Angel's Pillar, a story of, well, an architectural critic of a sort, getting put in his place by a sculptor in a really, really amusing way. This is Dan Scholz from the Folktale Project. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Overcast, anywhere you like to get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Folktale Project. You can find us on Auto Radio, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you'd like to listen. And you can always head over to folktaleproject.com, where you'll find a new story waiting for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. As always, thank you so much for listening.